Give me a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Have you ever had one of those days when everything goes wrong? It doesn't make any difference how hard you try, it just seems that everything backfires on you? The harder you try, the worse it gets. I'm convinced that all of us have had days like that. Mama said there'd be days like this. There'll be days like this, my mama said. I read a story about a young lady who was at the airport and she bought some candy, a Kit Kat bar. Well, while she was waiting for her plane, in a crowded waiting area, she saw an empty seat. She ran over to get it and plopped down. She hung her bag and her purse on the seat between her and man that was somewhat overweight. She tried to settle herself and move all her things where she could keep an eye on them. With everything finally in order, she was ready to eat her Kit Kat bar. But to her surprise, as she started to reach for it, she saw the man in the next seat unwrapping her candy bar, and she watched in utter amazement as he broke off a piece and ate it. She thought, "What? I don't believe what I'm seeing." She stared at him, and he looked at her, but no words were exchanged. She was so mad at what he had done that she decided that if he was going to be that bold about it, she could be bold too. So she reached over to him and broke off a piece of that Kit Kat bar and ate it herself. Then he broke off another piece and ate it. It became almost a duel between the two of them to see who would get the most. Quickly, the candy bar was consumed, and she sat there just boiling that someone would be so rude and so presumptuous as to eat half of her candy bar. Well, after a few minutes of silence, the man got up and left and then came back with another Kit Kat bar. He unwrapped it, broke off a piece, and started eating. She thought, well, since he ate half of mine, I'm going to eat half of his. So she reached over and broke off another piece and ate it. Once again, the same scenario was repeated until the whole candy bar was gone. She sat there thinking, this is the most ridiculous thing that has happened to me in my entire life. She continued to glare at him, and he looked at her with neither one saying a word. Just then, over the intercom came the announcement that her plane was ready for boarding. So she opened her purse to get her boarding pass, and, to her utter embarrassment, there was her Kit Kat bar. She had eaten half of 2 of his candy bars, and her candy bar was still in her purse. All they had to do was talk to each other. Won't you talk to your neighbor today before your flight number is called? And in closing, Saints, I love you and you can't do anything about it.